So, you've been to rehab now, what, 3 weeks, almost a month? You're ready to get out, huh? You're going to be totally fine this time. No, fuck drugs. You got your higher power. You got your things there. You're going to be great. Or you're about to leave and you're fucking terrified because you're afraid you're just going back to exactly where you were. Or you really want to fucking use. Well, welcome to the rest of your life. Now, that sounds dramatic. That makes it sound like, oh my god, why even waste your time? If you do heavy drugs, you're always going to want to run to such things when you are depressed, sad, all those wonderful feelings that you will still have. But I need you to remember what I told you in the first video. Write down how you felt right before you went to rehab. Write down why you went to rehab. Even if you went to rehab because you got arrested and were forced to go to rehab, or you had an intervention, think of those feelings and how you felt right then. Because here's the thing. It's now been, 2 to 4 weeks, depending, or even longer, depending on the insurance that you have and all that wonderful stuff. It's been a while since you've done it. So what do you really remember now? You're remembering the good parts. It's rare if you're remembering all the bad parts. I need you to remember those bad parts because it's really easy to paint a candy-coated fucking little cloud of amazingness that this drug is, and you were just being dramatic at the time, and you're fine. You know that's not. You know you're wrong. And it's okay because you have to go through this. So, welcome to life outside of rehab. So when you first get back, first week or so, everyone's really happy to see you. Everyone's real supportive. And if you're lucky, it might last for the next year to 10 to 20 to 30 years. It might last a day. That's not your problem. Your support network does not have to be your automatic family or anyone you even know. You might just have to go build a whole new one. Now, here's the thing. For me, for example, my family is very straight-laced. So nobody in my family really partied. Some drank. Some smoked pot. My aunt was a big partier, but I didn't know her by that point. So I didn't have to worry about my family, getting me to do drugs. They were very worried that I was going to do drugs. So be prepared that you're probably going to be locked down, even if, in my personal opinion, I don't think you should go back to living on your own at that point. If you can go to living somewhere with someone who else who went through the program, is sober, has a lot of years, like a decade or so under their belt, all right, move out. But you might need somewhere that you don't have to worry about bills right now, because you need to be almost treated like with kid gloves, which I know sounds like a fucking pussy move. Like, I know, you're probably like, I need that shit. But you will, because right now you have the high of fucking sobriety. You're feeling clean, straight, you're feeling better than you've had in years. You're gonna have bad days. It's not gonna last like that forever. Most of the people that you were friends with, regardless if you were friends with them since you were in second grade, or just this past, 2 months, you probably can't be friends with anymore. That includes lovers. That includes anyone that you partied with. Now, is it always the case? No. I was lucky. I actually married one of the people I partied with. I actually married the girl that I met when I was partying. But is that normal? Not particularly at all. So be prepared that you're probably going to feel a little alone. But here's the wonderful thing. There's the internet. You will find other people who are getting sober. Talk to them. Talk to them and remember the shit times. Stop trying to candy coat it like it's fucking amazing and beautiful and it was such a great high. Yeah, I'm sure it was a great high. But remember what came with it. Remember why you put yourself in rehab to begin with. Remember the disappointment in your parents or your husband, brother, lover, or whatever's eyes when you told them that you were shoving needles in your arm or whatever drug you were doing. Because it's very easy to forget that part. Now, for me, for the first year even, honestly, but for the first definitely few months, very raw the whole goddamn time. Everything was a fucking trigger, if you will, to make me upset about something. And I had to learn to deal with that without getting fucked up. And it was very strange. And did I deal with it healthily? No. Did I relapse? Yes. Am I proud of it? No. And they do say, yes, relapse is a part of recovery, but don't try to plan on relapsing. Because every relapse is like a Russian roulette, pretty much. Think of it as you have one bullet in a chamber of 6, and every time you tend to use, that might be the one that has the actual bad shot in it, or the too much, or what have you. So do realize you're fucking with death. But you know that. Fucking with those kind of drugs are pretty much fucking with death anyway. You can't just use on occasion. You can't be a casual user. You've already proven that you can't be a casual user. So it is time for a whole new friend group. It is time for new shit to do. It doesn't matter if you spend the next month or the next year not leaving your house or playing on the internet or playing video games or fucking scratching your ass. You need to stay away from the people you are. No fucking bars, no nothing. Now, eventually, you could possibly go to bars that if alcohol wasn't your problem, at least. You could go to clubs, same thing if alcohol wasn't your problem. But realize that every time you go to those things, there's a chance that you might run into somebody who has something that you don't want to know. You will have phone calls from people that you used to hang out with who didn't realize you went to rehab and are trying to suck at drugs off of you. You have to learn how to deal with those things. You have to have the will to at least try to stay the fuck out of it. Now, the reason I say write that journal, well, two reasons, obviously. You write the journal when you're in rehab because you need to get everything out of your brain or you explode. Like, you need to fucking get it all out. But number two is you need something to go back on to remember how much it sucked. Because after a while, 6 months or so, when you're still like, when life fucking sucks and, shit isn't going the way, you can't find a fucking job and you can't find any friends and everybody's a fucking drug addict and you're just bored with it, you're sick of fucking being good and you're frustrated and you're mad and you're aggravated, you need to pull out that book and read it and be like, oh, fuck, this is how that was. Because, man, you will forget it. You'll forget all about that shit. All you're thinking about is how good that felt at the time. And you're fine now. You got the tools now. You went to rehab. People go to rehab a lot more than one time sometimes, and sometimes you don't really want to go there twice. You don't have to. Do you really want to? I mean, do you want to go to jail again? Not really. So it's time for a new job. It's time for something to put your brain into. Fucking, I don't care if you work 3 fucking fast food jobs. You need to do something that keeps your brain fucking occupied. Like, I hate this saying, but it's the truth. Idle hands are devil's playthings. If you have nothing to do and you are fucking bored, what happens when we get bored, especially as drug addicts? Nothing good. Nothing good at all. If you have court cases, if you have jail time coming to you, anything like that, you might have to. It's time to just deal with it. Deal with what you have coming to you. You still were a drug addict. There's people you're still going to have to apologize to. Just because you went to rehab doesn't mean everything you did as a addict makes it all okay. Being a drug addict is not an excuse to be an asshole, past or present. Just because you used to be a drug addict, it's okay to just pop off the handle at people either. Find something to occupy your brain with. I don't care if it's fucking drawing, writing, fucking cross-stitching, fucking dyeing your hair every color of the rainbow, which is pretty much what I spent most of my time doing, is dyeing my hair. And talking to, like, no one. Well, I had one friend, but I couldn't talk to her really because she was doing drugs, and my partner, which I was like, I don't know what to do. You need to figure out something to occupy time, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks about it. People who you used to hang out with are going to think you're a fucking sellout or you think you're too good or what have you. Who cares? People who never knew a problem are going to think you're a scumbag. Who cares? There are always going to be people who are going to judge you, but you need to make sure that you feel okay with it. So your first 6 months is going to be raw and you might relapse. Don't plan on it, but it might happen. But when it happens, you better, the minute you fucking do it, get the fuck off of it. Like, I have a friend who's in the process of going through the first few months of it, and she did relapse. She relapsed in 2 days where she did, like, she was on heroin. She did, like, a bag in the morning, a bag at night, a bag in the morning, a bag at night for 2 days, and was like, and told her mom. And yes, that was probably mortifying to tell her mom, but it got her off of it. And as we know, there's not long-term any drugs. I go with heroin because it was my drug of choice, but there's no long-term drug addicts. So your first 6 months is you just trying to heal, you trying to figure out who the fuck you are, what you are, how you can live. After that 6 months, though, if you are comfortable enough, try to move away. You're already cutting ties with most of your friends, so maybe it's time to cut ties with the whole entire city that you lived in. Because I caught myself a lot when I first got out of rehab. I was living at the same place I was before, driving around my old spots where I used to cop. Was I planning on copping? No, but if I saw my dealer, probably would. It was almost like passive aggressively getting drugs, and come on, only becomes passive aggressive so long. So that is my little advice for the second 6 months or so out of rehab. Get a job, get some focus, find something creative and fun that you want to fucking do. I don't care if it's making YouTube videos. I don't care if it's fucking doing anything. Figure out something that you need to put your mind on. You need to get your mind off of just boredom. So that's my thought, at least for leaving rehab and how for now. After the first 6 months, it does get a little easier, and every day gets easier. And if you are struggling a day, and this sounds so stupid, but this is literally what I did. I would stare at the clock and be like, all right, well, I just need to make it for an hour. All right, 1 more hour. 10 more minutes. Like, anything. I don't care if I'm counting the clock down. I'm going to go to sleep right now. Like, that kind of stuff. It gets you through another day. It really does. And erase your phone numbers. Get a new phone if you can. Get a new phone number, everything. Throw your SIM cards away. Start fucking fresh. But if you can't, at least try to change your phone number. If you get to that, block all of your dealers' phone numbers. But realize that sometimes you might get a phone call and you have to be strong enough to say, I don't want it. Because remember, you really don't want it. You might think you want it, but you're not going to want it in the long run. And if you do want it, you need to get back to rehab, or at least an NA meeting, or a sponsor, or someone, because I don't have to tell you why. If you're watching this because you just got to rehab, you know why. No one gets put in rehab because they don't have a problem. Yeah, they want to take your money, but there's so many beds, there are only so many beds available. They're not going to take you if they think you don't have an issue. And I'm sure, at least 2 weeks in rehab, you'll figure out you have some kind of issue, right? And if not, maybe talk to somebody. Even if it's just a psychiatrist in general. It's time. Even if you can't afford one, there's people that you can literally text message and be their psychiatrist. You need to work on yourself, not your friends, not your family, not anybody else. You can repair some relationships, you can talk to people, you can try to rebuild. But the biggest thing you need to rebuild is you. Your coping mechanisms, your heart, your soul, your whole entire world. And then you can focus on the rest.